Tell us a bit about Mark Kasowitz, whom I mentioned just a moment ago. He of Kasowitz, Benson, Torres, a private white-collar firm. He's been the president's lawyer for some time. There were allegations that there was some malfeasance or malpractice within that firm in particular. We saw the way that Mr. Kasowitz responded to those allegations via some emails to somebody regarding those reports. What role is he playing? How's that going to be different from the role here that Ty Cobb is going to play?
At this point right now, Kasowitz is still the president's lead legal counsel outside of the White House, his personal legal counsel. So again, to distinguish it, there's the White House and everything having to do with the Trump administration, and then there's the president's own legal advice related to these investigations and questions about what he knew when during the campaign, or requests for things related to his time as a campaign. So that's what Kasowitz will head. There's some reports, and we've heard from some White House officials the suggestion that Kasowitz's role might be diminished. There's been some negative media reports about him, some allegations of erratic behavior by him. But Kasowitz's spokesperson and seems to be standing by the idea that there has been no change in his standing as Trump's top legal advisor, that despite reports and despite people in the White House saying that he will begin to eventually have a diminished role, he is still right now the president's lead lawyer and leading up this team of lawyers outside of the White House for the president.
Shannon, let me switch to communications here for a moment. In just about a half hour's time, the White House is going to have a briefing with reporters. It's going to be an off-camera briefing, but notably it is going to be with Sean Spicer, the communications director. He's taken somewhat of a backseat role here over these last few weeks. What are sources telling you about the role he is playing and will continue to play here in the White House going forward?
Well, last week we had no on-camera briefings and no off-camera briefings by Sean Spicer. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the deputy to Sean Spicer, did all of the off-camera briefings that they had last week. Still no word about whether we'll get an on-camera briefing. I asked Sarah in one of the briefings if she was going to be, the one speaking from the podium from now on, and she said no. Sometimes you'll hear from me, sometimes you'll hear from Sean, and you can see today she was correct in saying that Sean is back. The idea and what our reporting has shown, and my colleague Jennifer Jacobs did a story a while back on this, that they're trying to move Sean into a more communications director role, a less high-profile, on-camera face of the administration role, and sort of doing more strategy, big thinking, rather than being sort of in the daily grind. And the White House communications director, Mike Dubke, did leave, and they were going to fill that position. They've interviewed a lot of people, and in lieu of being able to find anyone else to fill that communications director job, or to find anyone else to be a press secretary, we're going to have more of a shift towards Sean Spicer doing more of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, for the time being the one who's sort of more out there as the public face of the White House. Of course, that being that there is any public face, which is hard to do if there's off-camera briefings every day.